That's a big one. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to start working on a very large bowl. I was hoping to try to turn the largest bowl that I could possibly turn. Couple things that I want to note about this thing. I put this on a faceplate. I actually mounted this up yesterday and then I left it overnight, and as you can see, now it's got this gnarly looking crack right there, and I can't tell how deep that crack runs, so I don't know if we're going to turn most of it out or not. So this is going to be one of those deals where I'm just going to start turning it and we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm not happy about that at all. That really bums me out, and if it ruined this blank, I'm going to be very angry because I'm tired of making 6-inch bowls. I want to make something bigger. I know this lathe is not all that big, but I'd like to try to get the max size out of it for this one. So I was hoping to really keep my tool rest out from underneath it and keep it as large as I possibly can. But Mr. Crack is going to dictate what we do. So let's see what happens. We'll just go at it and see where we end up. Okay, so that took far longer than I thought it was going to. It seems extremely out of balance. So I've got the lathe down pretty slow. If I had to guess, I'm probably somewhere around 450, maybe 500 RPMs at most, and it's still really out of balance. So I kind of like this little bit of bark that's still showing here. I'm going to try to leave that. I'm pretty happy with the outside shape. I've got a tenon on it, so that I can flip it around, get it off of the faceplate, and start trying to hollow it out. But first we gotta sand up the outside of this. Check this out. This is my new Robert Sorby Sandmaster, and I just got this. So this will be the first time that I've gotten to use this. So we're gonna see how this goes. I'm gonna use this to sand the outside of this and see how this thing works out. All right, let's get to it. Okay, so we've got this sanded up through 400 grit, and then applied a coat of sanding sealer to it. I'm going to let this dry for a little while, and then we'll come back and give this sanding sealer a quick sand at 400 grit just to flatten it down, and then we'll put a finish on this, and then we'll flip it over, start hollowing it out. We'll be back in a bit. Okay, so here's where we are. I let that sanding sealer dry overnight, not because it needs to, but sometimes I just take a break and I don't get back to it till the next day. So that's dry. We've now sanded this up to 1000 on the outside. It's still got a couple little blemishes in it, but I'm okay with that. I know where this bowl is going. That look is kind of preferred anyway, so I'm a little bit bummed that this crack right here opened back up after we turned a lot of it out. I was hoping that we were going to turn it all out, but some of it, as you can see, is still there, or it has opened up again. I think that it may have been the way I had the faceplate screwed on that was stressing the wood, so I wanted to get it out of that faceplate as quick as I could. I'm going to start hollowing it out and see what this crack does, and unfortunately last night I cleaned up the floor, so I don't have any dust from shaping the outside to pack it full of, do the CA and dust trick. So I got to think about how I want to fill that. I'm definitely going to stick some CA glue in there, but I may need to hollow out the inside of it before I have some dust to put in there. Or maybe I'll try something else, CA glue and coffee grounds. I'm not sure yet. I got to think about how I want to deal with that. I just wanted to get it out of the faceplate and get it in the chuck so that maybe it'll stop cracking, and just in case the way that I had it screwed was causing it to actually crack. So take the stress off of it and we'll see what happens. Next, we're going to start hollowing out the inside of this. So let's get to that. Okay, so we started hollowing this thing out, and it's still extremely off balance, so I'm not real sure what's going on there. It must just be the character of the wood, but it's really off balance, so I'm still having to keep the lathe pretty slow RPMs. That crack that was in the top, I found it does go all the way through, so I've packed it full of some dust from the floor from hollowing out the inside. And then ran some super glue across the top of that. We'll let that dry for a little bit, and then we'll just go back to hollowing this out and see where we can get. I kind of like how thin I've got this here. This little bark inclusion is looking kind of cool, but I think most of that's going to go away. We'll see how far down in there it goes. But I like the wall thickness that I've got. I like the shape. I like the size. So far I'm pretty happy with it. I just wish it was a little more in balance so that I could turn the speed up a little bit more. It's kind of slow going and driving me crazy. I like to get after it. So we'll let this CA glue and dust dry a little bit, and then we'll get back to it. Okay, so we got this thing all sanded up, and can I just say that this little Robert Sorby sander is actually really awesome. I kind of like this thing. Still kind of learning how to use it exactly, but I like that my hands are not in here or over here, so you know that's kind of nice. This thing actually does a really good job, so I'm pretty happy with that. And to put a finish on this thing, we're going to do something a little bit different. What I've done here is I've mixed up a small bottle of Obi Shine juice, and we're going to try that out and see what I think, and then you know, go from there. But this will be my first time using the Shine juice, and we'll see if I like it or not. So let's get it on there. All right, guys, well, there it is, the struggle bowl. So this one fought me all the way. Man, what a tough turn. I never could get it to balance out, so it was just really out of balance, and I couldn't get the lathe RPM up very high, which, you know, I probably was under 600 RPMs the whole time I turned this thing, which is really strange because usually when you start taking out the mass out of the inside, they start to kind of balance out. But this one never did. It stayed out of balance the whole time, even when I had it hollowed out. So that was crazy. And then, you know, I had a couple struggles with it. That crack that I was worried about ended up that it did go all the way through. Not only did it go all the way through, but it went out the other side too. So it went clear through the whole blank. So I had to deal with that as well. And then when I flipped it over to put it in the jam chuck to take the tenon off, the bottom started trying to crack across the tenon, so that kind of freaked me out a little bit. And then I had some struggles trying to cut the tenon off of it. It was just, again, it was still acting out of balance and real slow RPMs, and the tools wanted to catch on it really bad because it was turning so slow. I don't know, it was just crazy. It was really crazy. And then I also tried to put a napkin inside of it so that the jam chuck didn't scratch up the inside, and apparently my finish wasn't dry yet, and the napkin stuck to the inside of it. So then I had to sand out the napkin and then go back in with the new finish. So that was crazy too. Then I tried to sand the bottom of it and then put a finish on it, and apparently my Sharpie wasn't dry yet and the finish smeared the Sharpie, so I've gone back and sanded the bottom off of it again. I'll re-sign it, let it dry for a while, then we'll put a finish on the bottom of this. That's why the finish is looking, you know, kind of undone on the bottom, because I sanded it back off. So this one's kind of crazy. It ended up warping about 1/4 of an inch out around. It's about 8.5 this way, about 8 3/4 this way. So yeah, she's a little egg shaped. It doesn't sit right because the bottom warped a little bit after I took the tenon off. But, you know, whatever. Every bowl is a lesson, right? And the struggle bowl definitely gave me some lessons. So we'll move on to the next one. Hopefully you guys had fun. If you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell so you know when the next video is coming. And if you enjoyed this one, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot, guys.